Hi everyone, it's Hans here, the founder of Cappuccino, and welcome to this latest episode of Flat Whites and Insights, a podcast created to allow a space for open, honest and vulnerable conversations with real people, all over a beautiful cup of coffee. We're here in my home, so I'll be providing the flat whites, and my guests, they'll be providing the insights. So grab a coffee for yourselves, take a moment, and I hope you enjoy this latest conversation. Thank you, take care, and enjoy. Max, hi there.
Hi, how are you doing? You right?
Yeah, good. Thank you for taking up a Sunday morning
Right.
to come
It's
over.
a nice drive actually, through the countryside. And
Yeah, exactly. It's not too bad, Oxfordshire. We've got some nice bit of the
nice,
country. But appreciate you coming on. And I've obviously followed your career for a while. I was a Wycombe fan growing up, so I remember you breaking through. Hartlepool away, I think, was the first goal.
Yeah.
Exeter away.
Yeah.
It's another good screamer. So remember seeing your career grow, and that was about 10 years ago now. So for me, this is quite a full circle moment.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know who you are, not all my followers are kind of from the football world. You're right to give a brief introduction.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Max Kretschmar. As you said, I came through at Wycombe Wanderers in League 2, League 1 as a scholar. So a scholar's kind of like when you're 16, you leave school and go play full-time football, which was like my dream.
Yeah.
Everyone asked me like, did you miss home? Did you have to? I was just like, no. I was just like fully in it. Just loved it. So I stayed up in Wycombe, above a pub actually. There was 9 of us above a pub. So you can imagine how carnage that was.
Really? Like 9 of the academy boys?
9 boys, yeah. So 2 first years, so under 17s, and then like 8 or 7 under 18s. So yeah, some of the best moments of my life in there. But it was really not the best pub in the world, so we weren't being stupid and drinking and things like that. But some are just, living with 8 other lads is just fantastic. And then I got a professional contract 2 years later. I got actually a really bad. I broke my leg in my second year scholar on my tibia, so just above my ankle joint.
Yeah.
So that was pretty tough, but managed to come back from that. Gary Woodett was the manager.
Yes. Yeah.
He gave me my first pro, and then my first year as a pro, I never played a single game. I was on the bench twice. I'm still now, but I was very small, very skinny. And then obviously Woodett left. Gareth Ainsworth come in for his long stint, and that first year pro, obviously I've always prided myself on training well. I was always a good trainer, and got another year professional contract. Ainsworth said, look, go away, go in the gym, you've got to get stronger and things like that. Did it day one. After the season ended, I was in the gym. And like you said, that season you remember me from was my breakthrough season when I was 19.
Yes, 2013-14, wasn't it?
God, yeah, that sounds right.
I'm a stats nerd, so I'd know all the things. But yeah, 2013.
So didn't start the first game. Came on for my debut at home to Morecambe.
Yeah.
And then those goals against Hartlepool were probably one of my fondest in my career. Yeah. Came on at half time. We were 1-0 down. No, it was 0-0. Came on at right mid, scored 2 goals. Yeah. And we won 2-1, and it was just like you said, scoring your first 2 goals, winning the game as well. Yeah, amazing. And I've still got that shirt at home, or my dad's got it, my mum's got it.
It was the Tequila Sunrays one, wasn't it?
It is,
the yellow and orange.
It was a nice kit. FIFA on the back, Samsung. It was.
It was the year we had the.
Yeah, it was good. So
good sponsors there as well.
Yeah, and then obviously my career developed at Wycombe. We lost at Wembley in the playoff final to Southend, and that's the shirt you've got there.
Yes.
And and then I've just kind of fallen down the leagues, but been in the National League most of my career with Woking and now Wealdstone.
Yeah, amazing. No, it's awesome hearing you kind of recount that, and I'm sure we can dive into a little bit of the experience of being around the kind of 7-8 other lads and growing up. I mean, even just then, before we hit record, I was talking about, so Darius Charles, another ex-Wycombe player, he's now at Man City. It's kind of like a house parent, so obviously probably worlds apart like the Man City to Wycombe Wanderers, but the amount even now, it's interesting to think of clubs and what goes into the academy and the aftercare. Yeah,
it's a really big role, of course, because I know obviously Jordan Ibe used to play at Wycombe. He moved to Liverpool and they moved all his family up there. So obviously sometimes that's not feasible. So the role of, I call them a digs lady or a digs person, is really big. Obviously the food's got to be reasonable because
Yeah,
they're athletes now. But obviously the emotional and psychological side, like they're kind of a surrogate parent maybe for a year or two. So
you probably spend more time with them than your actual family. And I think I'd spotted on your bio you've got UUA for B as well. So you've done some kind of coaching. And with my role in Barks and Bucks, such a big part of, we'd say, like the safeguarding element, like being a coach, whether it's grassroots level to the pro game. It's such a big part. You play in the development, and there's probably throughout your career, you mentioned some names, Gary Waddock, Gareth Ainsworth, Dobbo as well would have been there.
Dobbo's my biggest influence in my career, probably.
Yes.
Well, he is, certainly. Richard Dobson, obviously, he was a coach at Wycombe. He was head of youth. So when he signed me as a 15, 16-year-old, I'd left Southampton. I was at Southampton from 10 to 15. Left there, got released, and then went on trial at Brentford and Wycombe. And Dobbo obviously knew I was small. He was a small player himself, so he was like, "Yeah, we'll wait for you. We'll wait for your growth." And he kept his promise, and I did. And he then became assistant manager at Wycombe. So I was going, "Oh crap! Like, is he gone now? Have I lost his coaching because now he's gone to the first team?"
Yeah,
it was completely opposite. He was now in a better position to like bring all of us through, like
feed it through. I remember the names. I mean, sorry, you're about to
reel
them off from that
normally
year.
you're told maybe you get one a year. Age group of like 18 of you, maybe you get one or two that come through. I mean, at Wycombe we had Charles Dunn, Anthony Stewart, Kadeem Harris, myself, Josh Scowen, who's still there, Jordan Ibe, obviously much later, loads, and they've actually gone and had like varying careers, but made money and a living and had the best job in the world for like 10, 15 years. So I'm sure I've left some out as well, but it was a lot of players come through in a short space of time.
No, it was amazing, and that was kind of the time that I was just kind of getting really into Wycombe, being old enough to go down and watch the games yourself rather than. And since then, I've really been much more into. I love getting to a live football game more than watching it on the telly. Obviously, you catch match of the day and things, but and now I'm involved heavily at Tidcot Town, local team. So I started out as a sponsor, but like with all these things, volunteers at your clubs. I'm sure you got them at Wealdstone as well. Like so people who do so many jobs around their place, and now I do like the stats. Hence, I was able to. I can tell you, 85 games, 9 goals for Wycombe. I can tell you that. I'm sure you're on that, but it's a decent ratio as well.
I've always had a good ratio. Just injuries have held me back a little bit, but I've always had a ratio of starting games 1 in 3.
Nice.
So I look at like my hero, like Frank Lampard, like ridiculous, 1 in 2.5, something like that. But games I start to like play, I always base myself on goals and assists. So I've always had quite a good like record. It's just being able to play for 50, 60 games a season I've found tough. But I mean, like I said, throughout my whole career, even at Woking, I was scoring 15, 16 a season. I always wanted to get double figures every year. So kind of playing that attacking role, midfield, you kind of have to get goals and assists. Yeah,
no, definitely. And Wealdstone, so that's the current club.
Yeah.
Been a bit of change at the club recently, obviously, with the manager moving on. But I think you recently put out a video because you also do your YouTube and you kind of got your podcast. So it's Max Talks Football, isn't it?
That's it.
I'll let you talk about it rather than myself. Yeah, no, I'll let you plug it.
No, so it was kind of, I did a degree, so alongside football, obviously footballers have a lot of time.
Yes.
So it's quite, we obviously know there's a lot of like, well, there used to be a drinking culture in football. Gambling obviously is rife now. There's so many adverts on the TV. But a normal day, it sounds crazy because they get paid millions, but not further down the leagues. Yeah. Everyone thinks you get paid thousands down the leagues, but you don't. Normal day, maybe getting at 9, start training at 10, maybe 11, and then sometimes, especially on a Friday before a game, set pieces, easy session, don't want to be too heavy, so nice and light. You're done by like 1. You have lunch, done by 1, 2 o'clock. So all of a sudden you have this 2 till obviously the evening. Sitting around, maybe your wife or your other half is working, so you got a lot of time to yourself. So it is. My mum was always on top of me, like studying alongside football. I was quite good at school, lazy but smart. So she was constantly on me. So that's why I've done the B licence.
Nice.
Did a degree in professional sports journalism and broadcasting. Really enjoyed it. I went into the course thinking I'd want to be like a journalism. I've always written for Wycombe programme. I do write a column for the Wealdstone programme.
Nice.
But I went in and I really enjoyed the radio stuff. And the TV stuff is tough. I mean, we all have a go at the people on the TV. It's quite common in Twitter news at the minute
course, like
for females and males, but punditry full stop. It is actually tough. We done a little on my course. We had it was a 2-year accelerated course, so 3 years to 2 years. But there was obviously, we done the typical soccer Saturday, so we watched Arsenal Chelsea when Chelsea beat them 4-1 in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Right, and we'd watch the game. Right, there's been a goal, Max. Go stand in front of that camera, and you've got to tell us about the goal. And I was like, it's a piece of piss. Like, we've been doing it our whole lives. We've been watching it, and start again. It was actually really hard. Yeah. Lights all on you, things like that. It was quite intimidating, but eventually you got better at it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the radio and TV side of it. So Max Talks Football is my little YouTube channel at the minute. Very in its infancy. Been doing it over 5-6 months. Yeah. Not got a lot of subscribers, but it's kind of like, it was maybe if I after football go media or coaching, I'm not sure which way I go. I really like the coaching. I am good at it. High stressful job, low pay maybe when you start. So I wanted to have something else. So it's kind of one, I really enjoy it. Like you said, bringing the fans closer to players, and you get that a lot in non-league as well. So I do match day vlogs on that. Yeah. Kind of had a lot of feedback about when I talk over the highlights and things. They really enjoy it because they see it from a player's point of view. It's a footballer's
perspective, isn't it? So like, I think I saw you recently did like a short video about analysing your own game and watching video back, and I think that's really interesting to as you say, to actually see it through the mind of a player, or even like where you got your coaching badges, and I see yourself, and I almost wasn't surprised there where you say you got like coaching badges up, and through the media you feel like you really do analyse your game, and you're, like some people maybe don't love football so much, they'll play it. I think it's higher, but you feel like, or maybe that's the way the game's evolving. I think it goes
for life in general, whatever business, whatever thing you're doing, like you kind of need to self-analyse, correct if you need to, learn from your mistakes, and then grow and become better at what you do. But definitely only on my career, again, I had a lot of anxiety before games. I'd throw up in the toilet before a game, and I'd eat breakfast and go, right, well, to not sound graphic, but I put all that nutrients in my body, and now I can so I go out and feel really leggy and things like that. Then on top of that, go away after the game and overanalyze and why did I miss that chance? So I saw a sport.
I mean, there's almost there's a risk of getting into it too much, maybe.
And self-defeating yourself and things like that. So I do sometimes now, if we get beat 4-0, I will look at it a little bit, but I'm not going to hang on to it too much. No. And I used to go back on a Saturday. It used to affect, obviously, my relationship with my other half. And now, I don't know if it's age or whatever, football is the main thing in my life, but I can go home and forget about it and write it off, maybe have a beer or have a cup of tea or whatever and just go, it's done. And have a nice chat with my fiance. So it's better now. But there obviously is a balance of okay, where did I go wrong? Okay, cool. And also just binning off a terrible performance or something like that.
Of course, every now and again there's something that you just kind of got to write off. So you mentioned there about feeling a bit anxious before games. I'm sure it's a very common among especially young players coming through, because I guess for yourself, from your perspective, having maybe that injury when you were younger, having that year where you're on a contract but you're not playing, that first start or that first time when you come off the bench, there's excitement, or what was that like for yourself, if you can recall?
Back to the injury, we played Luton away and the ball went over to their striker. I'm playing centre midfield, he's had a bad touch back into midfield and he's just come over straight over my leg. I tried to play on, couldn't. Obviously the bionic boots you kind of get, which, the boots when you get an ankle injury or something like that. Yeah. Put that on, and I hate those boots because I'm injured. It basically clarifies.
It's like a badge of a label on you, injured player. Yeah.
On the way home, I took it off. I was obviously not happy. Dad was driving, and my ankle just blew up. And I mean, something I've never seen before. So I just burst into tears in the car. Dad rings the physio, Murray Moore. He's like, get that boot on, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, had to have an operation. And I'm saying, this was October time, so I come back in February.
And how old were you at the time?
18.
So
just turned 18. Yeah. Emotions all over the place. But this is the year, I have to prove to Gary Woodard that, it's the biggest year of your life. So I come back in February, and looking back on it now, I could have seen the signs then. I was doing my rehab with every day watching the boys going out training. Like
Yeah,
that's a lot of players, especially from the outside, especially Twitter, which obviously pretty cesspit at times. It's like a lot of fans criticise players for being injured, and like we don't want to be injured. It's the last thing. It's the hardest thing. Not playing because of the manager not picking you.
Yeah.
Okay. Not playing because you're injured. The two worst things. Like it's just.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So you watch the boys go out. Injured players have to be in earlier than the players, and they leave later than the players playing. So, again, come back. But I was doing my rehab with the first team physio as well.
Nice.
So, looking back on it, they had a plan for me. I think they trusted that I was good enough.
Yeah.
And then
I think that's something, as a Wycombe fan, I've noticed over the years, they potentially have players, and they seem like a club that really look after their players.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's people who like probably have stories about that with every club. I just am exposed to the Wycombe ones because I'm a fan. But I think so. Nick Freeman, who was at the club and came through, I think he had quite a bad injury, ACL, but the club gave him that contract, extended it, so he didn't have to worry about rushing, getting fit to give it. Like Darius, we spoke about earlier, but where he was told he'd have to retire, and Ainsworth was just said, "Look, you're a big part of the group."
And there's mortgages to pay, there's bills, there's things like that.
Yeah,
like,
people don't. Again, like you said, people see footballers as you got it made, but there's a big difference between being a Premier League player with all the sponsorships and all the things that come around it.
I know there is like a certain point where my point's a bit mute, but like whether you're on 50 grand a week or 5 grand or 500 quid, like obviously it's a bit easier. I know what we're saying, it's a bit easier with 50 grand, but like sometimes it's irrelevant because you're still not being able to do what you love. Which is why it shows that high profile players do have really tough times as well.
You see a lot of people once they've retired in sports, don't they? People especially in like rugby or football, or any team sports or cricket. I know cricket. I follow cricket. I'm quite big into that as well.
Cricket.
And there was been issues with mental health, and you can see if you're on a big tour. Let's say you're an opening batsman, you get a duck, and then you're literally sat there for 2.5 days. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the less we say about the cricket this morning, the better. I don't know if you've been following.
So I get up at 4 a.m. I put it on the radio, and then half asleep, half like.
Yeah.
So it was like 200 for 2 the other day. I was like, oh, we're flying. Root, whatever, does what he does, got out.
And then it's just.
I went back to sleep, woke up, we're 8 down. I was like,
it's
what?
just, I know. Or even this morning, I think by the time
I saw it 4 down. I didn't see it beyond that.
It's 7 by the time you arrived.
God.
I mean, by the time as we're speaking, it's probably over. But that sounds very negative. But the way like the team have been and like the Ashes recently was incredible. But going back to that kind of the mindset thing and the pressure on an athlete at the high level.
It's even tougher in cricket because, like you said, it's an individual team sport. Like I'm bowling to you and you're batting, and if you do get out, you have 2.5 days.
And unless you carry a bat, your last delivery you face is always a wicket. I remember talking to a mate who
watching it back.
Who was at uni with me, and he said that's why he finds cricket difficult. He was a batsman. He was like, no matter how many runs you score, unless you're not out, you end on a negative. You end on a bad, which is a really interesting way of putting it, because that's maybe not the case. Say with football, you miss a chance or you get booked, like you can maybe make up for it.
And you've got 10 other people who can maybe get you out of jail as well.
But when you're a batsman there, it's a very lonely place, I can imagine.
It is. And like you said, when you're touring India or even Australia in the past years, like...
Well,
you've seen, obviously, the mental health, obviously, with Jonathan Trott.
Yeah.
That tour, that took a toll on everyone, it looked like. But that ability, again, like kind of what I was saying, go home, pop open a beer or whatever it is, and just like forget about it.
Being able to try and switch off.
I found that actually playing with some players, especially like kids like from London, who've had like tough backgrounds or like they've got. Obviously, I'm not a huge religious. Well, I'm not a religious person at all, but like especially like maybe people from tougher backgrounds who have a strong religion, they kind of can separate and just go, well, it's in His hands, God's hands. So like. That can act as really positive, like a really...
Yeah.
Because, well, if it doesn't go wrong, then that's kind of what was meant to happen. Like, and I'm really jealous of that sometimes, because it happened because I wasn't good enough, or this or that happened.
What you mean, always trying to find a logic to it.
Yeah.
Trying to find
so sometimes just like putting it down to a separate entity or something can be really beneficial.
Difficult. I mean, I'm a massive overthinker. With everything, like even, I mean... Obviously, it's a bit different being an office job, but even still, like if a day goes badly, or I'm like, oh, I didn't quite get the project through as I liked, or someone from a football club was a bit annoyed at me, which happens. Football's an emotional sport, even from the administrative side. And being part of like the county FA, there are bits where sometimes they feel we only contact them when they're getting a suspension or a
Fine,
fine,
yeah.
or like, you know, they see us maybe as that DFA, which is, and people are like, they're not doing enough for grassroots football. There's that image. We're kind of the bad guys sometimes.
So how do you go home and like?
So for me, I would try not to overanalyze it. For me, a big one is like reading now. Like I never used to read when I was growing up.
I only read on holiday.
Really? Yeah. I've had a lot of people say that because it's almost when you're on holiday, there's nothing else you should be doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not great at reading fiction. I like autobiographies.
Same.
I like books about, you know, like Stephen Bartlett's book I've read, or
Leadership
self-help
and things
books,
like that.
leadership. But again, it's me switching off, but my brain still has to be active. I can't be just sat there doing nothing. I'm really bad at that. But if I can put my energy into something that does not work, hence, I mean, setting up this platform with like Cappuccino, and got my coffee with Joko Coffee Traders there, and doing this podcast. It's things that are busy, but it's not my job. So I feel like I can switch off.
That's why it's difficult. Obviously in football you have a range of 30-year-olds to 18-year-olds. So I have a few really good friends who are like 21, 22. Even Charlie Barker at Wilson at the minute, he's got a really good career ahead of himself. Kyron Lofthouse, who was at Woking, he's at MK Dons now, on loan from Barnsley. So you can kind of, I'm 30 now.
Yeah.
So like, I want them to try and get on the property ladder because it's so hard. And I know it sounds a bit silly, but like, try and prepare for the future, which is difficult to explain because like to a 21-year-old because they're going out, whatever, things like that. It's
so true though, particularly as in the field, in the industry you're in, you could get a career-ending injury like that.
Done. So that's where
I guess that's where you said your mum was on you.
My mum was a huge role because so I came from a good school, Hampton, and then went into this BTEC, obviously do the BTEC alongside the football.
Yeah.
She put me straight into the diploma one, like the hardest one. She's like, you're doing that one. Did it with Matty Ingram. Matt Ingram, the goalkeeper at Wycombe. And then, like I said, I had a period still full-time. And as soon as I went part-time with Woking, it was like, wow, what am I going to do with like... Because we trained Tuesday, Thursday mornings.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with the rest of my week? So I went straight into coaching, coached for a company in
Yeah.
schools and things like that. So learned a lot about communication, how do you communicate to an 8-year-old, to an 18-year-old, an 8-year-old who doesn't want to be there, or an 8-year-old kid who wants to be there. Maybe his mum and dad at school work late, so he's just there just to make up the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe he's actually wants to be a footballer, and like it taught me a lot. So from the age of 24 up until now, really, well, not up until lockdown, I was working for a company, and again, taught me a lot looking back on it. And then now I just do my own one-to-one coaching and things like that. So I really enjoy that. But like I said, I learned a lot about communicating to different people, because if you communicate the same way to everyone, more than half are probably just going to switch off.
Yeah,
so
it's a big thing we have about in coaching as well, particularly at the moment with like, there's much more of a bigger eye on kind of neurodiversity, so kids with like maybe ADHD, autism, or just understanding that people don't all process information the same way, and about historically probably if a kid was not making eye contact or maybe being a bit fidgety, the coach might just be like, oh, they're just being disruptive, they don't want to be here, they're a troublemaker, and they'll maybe get punished for that, when it's just kind of understanding a way to get through them. And it probably helps you on the pitch as well, in terms of seeing the game or having that from a perspective of understanding what your coaches are how they're feeling, or the frustrations they might feel.
But with players to players as well, like, I'm very vocal on the pitch, so like, which kind of leads into why hopefully I'll be a good coach after. But like, I think the coach can give you all the plans you want, but when you go on, you have to manage it yourself. So a lot of stuff, obviously the manager, Stuart Maynard, who's just gone to Notts County, one of the best preparers for a game. Like, obviously the story around Wealdstone in the last 4 years is that like tiny budget, but like we play soccer, like we get the ball on the floor, our possession stats are very high. Yeah, we just have
good footballing.
Really the best I've ever played in, like since I was at 16 at Wycombe with Dobbo. But like, it's about trying to. Right, I know, especially with Josh Casey, one of my best friends at Woking. I know I can shout at him, and it'll be done like a second later. Or I didn't even shout at Josh because we both had high standards. I'd literally look at him and go, "Come on, mate, that's your man," or like, "Come on, like." And it was literally a look.
Just that,
And that was it. And he'd do the same. I'd go, yeah, that's on me, sorry. But then other players, they might need a bit of a rollicking or like, hey, come on, you're better than that,
Yeah.
And then especially I found it with wingers, like your tricky best players.
Yeah.
Just tell them they're great. Just tell them they're great all the time.
I was going to say,
like dribbles ball, loses it, go lose it again. Like go try again. So
understanding your players, like some people have proper arm around the shoulder.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You get it in every
That's what I'm
walk
saying,
of life. I mean,
yeah.
I just think management is such a skill, and it's not something that you can just like. You can be good at your job, but it doesn't necessarily make you a good manager.
Yeah.
Not in all walks of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly because I think I'm a bit of a, you know, I'd be like a winger. I think need to be told I'm great. Just go for it, because I think I struggled. Where I said I was an overthinker, and like a real big thing I struggle with is like fear of failure.
Same.
Certainly did growing up.
Yeah.
That comes from kind of my childhood. Not going to my parents split when I was like 10. Didn't have like the warm family environment that other people might have. Like it wasn't a difficult childhood. I'm not trying to like saying that, but in terms of I necessarily felt like I'd have to always be like showing my worth, or like, oh look, tell me. So that validation, I never felt that. I do now, and it's amazing now to have come to that point where I'm like confidence in my own. Like I know that my voice matters, I'm valued, and all that without getting too deep into it. But yeah, always struggled with that fear of failure or needing to be told that I'm great. So my manager sometimes would, I think, if I don't hear anything, my mind will automatically think, oh, I haven't done anything great. Whereas actually for some people, they would love a manager to just never speak to them and just be like, well, if I hear no news is good news to a lot of people. So yeah, but we've obviously got a good relationship, a very good relationship, and just I'm at the point now I'm more confident to have those difficult conversations and be like, look, if you don't talk to me for a week, you might think that's you trusting me and letting me off, but to me I'm like, oh, I've pissed her off. What have I done? Why doesn't she want to talk to me? So
well, I'd liken you to a winger or a striker then. Like a striker never means to miss. Like he's trying to score.
Yeah, of course.
Like, So I see, and it's different people in that. I see a striker miss, manager throws his hat on the floor, goes mad, or players go defenders, because the defenders are attackers often clash in the dressing room because hey, we're doing our job and you're missing your chance, or vice versa.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So anytime someone tries something or has a shot and they miss, I'm like, good, do it again. I see Klopp do it a lot. Like they have a great move, someone misses a sitter and he's there clapping above it, like brilliant, do it again. So yeah, I say to people, like, I've never met a person who doesn't like they've done their job well or been told their job. So just do it. Just tell people like, when they've done it. Obviously, when they haven't done it, you've got to let them know as well. But
of course,
I don't know anyone who doesn't appreciate being told they've done well.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing. It's that otherwise, a bit like I was saying about the way that some people see the county FA is we're only in contact with them if they've done something wrong or we're charging them, and that's what we're trying to change as a perception of like we want to be out there because like, at the end of the day we're there to support people's journey and increase participation in football and make them enjoy it and hopefully develop them through it. Because you said about like the coaching, like there's skills from that would translate into any workplace, like communication.
Like you say, it's management, not really coaching. It's management.
It's management, isn't it? Yeah, just in a football environment. But no, so something I wanted to ask you about as well. So doing the media stuff, growing up, was that something you'd always kind of like say like watching football? Like, has football always been just a part of your life? It seems like for the coaching and the media, like
it is, and that is going to be a problem further down the line because when I have to retire, that'll be one of the hardest transitions to do, and it's probably could be happening as we speak. But to go back to your question, I wanted to be a footballer my whole life, but like I said, I went to a good school. I was very good at I was a lazy student, but I was very good whenever I had to.
Could turn it on when you needed to.
That's it.
Effective, efficient.
Yeah. I'd play FIFA, I'd commentate on the games with our mates, I'd watch games, my dad used to be, and my mum and dad, I'd go, like, Henri needs to do this, or someone's got to play this, and then the commentator would say it, I'm telling you like 10 seconds later, and my dad would look at me.
I've had that before growing up, because I used to like commentate, and I used to say it to my family, similar.
Yeah.
An eye for like the game and stuff.
So my dad would be like, especially my mum, she was like, you need to do this for a living or something. Like you need to
almost like you're
being wasted as a footballer. I'm like, oh cheers.
Yeah.
But so like I say, got an eye for it. I really I did with the radio stuff for my degree. Whenever I was injured at Woking, I was co-commentator for BBC Surrey.
Nice.
So I'd go to the game, watch the game, And first couple, obviously, I had Mark Francis, who I think he does horse racing now. He's got his own thing, but like, he was really good with me. So I found it really hard at the beginning. So obviously holding the mic, and like, it actually sounds stupid, but like, how you just have to stop talking. So you'd be like, oh, so goal's gone in. Then I kind of go, yeah, great play by the winger. He cut it back, and it was a great finish. So yeah, and I'd be like, I'd say that little. So yeah, I'm kind of done talking now.
I think it's very different to a conversation.
Yeah, so Mark was like, just stop talking. So like, you say your thing, stop talking. Sometimes there'd be a 3-4 second pause, but that's natural on commentary.
Yeah, because you don't want them to be always talking, because sometimes you fill in the game. Yeah.
So on radio, you do need to speak more. TV commentators can get away with less, more stats based, like you said, or like, you can just, because the viewer can see it. With radio, there's much more description and things like that. So a couple of times I celebrated a Woking goal, pulled the microphone out, so that was a disaster. So like, not the microphone, like the whole...
I see what you mean, the whole setup.
Oh God, so they were offline for like a minute, done that twice.
Yeah.
So I had to try and hold my emotions together. But like I said, that one, and it was, what does the listener want to hear? So I was like, okay, I'm a player. So sometimes at half-time I'd go into the change room and come back up, not tell them the whole team talk, obviously, but like, the viewers going, wow, like, we've got an inside knowledge to the dressing room.
I think that's it. People want that insight. What can you bring that another commentator couldn't?
So then tactical stuff as well. I'm watching the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, especially with coaching as well, you'd be like, right, get touch tight, or got to make an angle here. And the kids look at me like, and I'll be like, you assume that they know what you're talking about. So it's about kind of, okay, so they might not know that Woking are playing a 3 at the back today. Why would they be doing that? And then you kind of get into that. And then I had a lot of good feedback about, wow, like, you're kind of educating the listener as well. So I'd come into the commentary and be like, right, give them tactical stuff and maybe give them little nuggets from the dressing room. And then those two things.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like,
what you can offer. And no, I love it. And it is difficult though. You say, like, I've tried a bit even doing it on pre-recorded highlights.
Yeah.
So for Didcot, I don't tend to do it anymore, but there was a stage where I was, but commentating as if it was live.
That's hard. That is hard. Because
you're not in the moment, and you're trying to make it sound. And actually, part of me was thinking maybe it would be better to just do it in the past, like it's already happened. Yeah. But I think no disrespect to Didcot, I don't think there's going to be that many people watching it who don't know the score. Because if you're really into Didcot, if you're really into a club that size, you're either there or you're going to probably be keeping up on the score. But even watching it back, it's nice to. It feels like it's live. It was difficult because the emotion maybe to replicate.
Because you've got 89 minutes of maybe nothing, or ooh and ah, and then finally when it does happen, like So
it was just for highlights, but no, it was good. And actually, I had someone on my podcast this same series, so Chloe, but she does a lot for the bunch of amateurs.
Yeah.
So she's part of like the recording crew for
that.
Love it,
yeah.
So that new series, it's like Rains Park Vale.
I watched the first two.
Because it's Conor Gallagher's brother who's the manager, and yourself being a Chelsea fan.
So I used to coach. I still coach in Wycombe, and he used to be on the pitch before me. So they got a lot of brothers. Jake, I played against. He played for Aldershot.
Yeah.
Like, run 13k a game, smash you. Like, he was a really good pro. So there's a few brothers now, and obviously I'm a Chelsea fan, so big fan of Conor.
So Conor, seeing what he's doing, but so and she's doing sports journalism, I think at Solent at the moment, so Southampton way, to head of media at Eastleigh.
But again, another YouTube channel taking you behind the scenes.
It's almost not so much the action; it's the bits outside of that. And
100%.
I've noticed a lot of football clubs, like, they do inside match day. I think even like Wycombe were doing it, and even like the videographer at Didcot. Sometimes he'll just put them highlights, but what people like is the kind of the atmospheric stuff, and you kind of get a sense for the day, which is awesome. But no, appreciate it, mate.
Right.
In terms of, going to talk about. So you said about like the anxiety and stuff before the games. Something just with the nature of my podcast, my own mental health experience and stuff. At Wealdstone at the moment, or just in general in football, is there like a psychologist or something? Because I don't know at what point in the game, and I guess for people listening, at what point is it?
It's a good question. I'd have to ask. We don't have one. No, we had one at Wycombe. Misha, who I think's still there at Wycombe. It's definitely something, like you said, we said before we started recording, it's becoming more popular to study.
And I think or even I guess it doesn't have to be a qualified sports psychologist, but the conversation and like the hairdryer, like the old-fashioned management style. I don't think with some of the younger players, definitely now, it would go down well if someone come in and just...
In that. And young people, I coach a lot of young people, they don't respond to that now. They don't respond to it.
They're more like your strikers and wingers.
They're a bit softer. Like
Game's gone soft. But no, in terms of...
People have changed because...
People have changed, yeah. That's
you know, words like woke or blah, blah, or like, not soft, but I can't think of a word I'm trying to think of, but like...
I'd say there's a lot more of an emotion, like understanding and like I guess the mental side, like mental health as much as physical health is much more understood.
Prevalent, yeah.
And so that's something that coaches and players have to have to take into account.
So before games, very anxious. I'd struggle to eat, and eating now, by the time I got to like 27, 26, I've got a great routine I'm used to now.
Yeah.
So we all know, like, sometimes I'd have like a bowl of porridge and I'd score a hat-trick. I'll be like, right, porridge every day.
Because people are superstitious as well, aren't they?
100%. And sometimes things work when sustainably they won't work for that in the future. So maybe you just had like a tiny little cereal bar before a game.
Yeah.
And then, like, I know Josh Scowen doesn't eat hardly anything, and he runs and smashes people. He's the best player every week. That was many years ago. I don't know what he does now, but it's different for different people. So it's about kind of finding that element. But for me, preparing really well from a Monday to a Friday, but then a Friday night to a Saturday morning to a 3 o'clock kickoff gives me a lot of confidence. So I've realised, like, right, 3.5 hours before kickoff, 11:30, I'm having my pasta. So I have to have pasta for breakfast. So it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But for an away trip in a hotel, I get up whenever I get up. I might go down for a coffee in the morning. Have a little walk, make sure I'm drinking lots of water, but I'll always eat like from 11:15 to 11:30. That just works for me. Yeah,
and it's that. I guess as well, you said that there's a lot of uncontrollables, but you know you can control that routine, and if you've done that, it maybe helps with. We said about, let's say the result doesn't go well, you don't have your best performance. As long as you know you've done your preparation, you can kind of be like, okay, it happens.
And it's important because, like you said, when you've got a longer body of work or results that have worked, you know it works. But when you're younger, I was definitely flitting from one thing to another. Like,
I guess you're trying to work it out or trying to find it. Yeah.
And I wish I'd worked out earlier, because I probably may have played better at Wycombe, even though I played pretty well. But like, that just comes with experience and time in the game. When I left Wycombe and played at Woking, didn't have a great season. My first season there, got released from Woking. I had separated my AC joint. I had a medial knee. I'd done my knee and then come back the first game back, I'd done my shoulder. So I was just like, God. Saw a psychologist then. And we're talking about overanalyzing earlier. Like, so if I have a chance in the 90th minute and I miss it, I go home, I think about it, I run it through my mind 10, 15, 20, 50 times. And she said to me that, just in her back garden, it was a private, my mum and dad found, and went and saw her near where I lived. And she said, every time you replay it in your mind, like, you're missing that chance again. So the effect of you missing that chance is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So like, she taught me how, okay, what would you do next time? Rather than think about the chance again you missed, would you go on with your inside the foot? Was the cross good enough? Like think about what you do next time to score. And that kind of helped me as well. Like, rather than like, okay, I did that wrong. Okay, what will you do next time? What will you change? So that helped me a lot. And now, I feel my body getting anxious before a game. I don't feel the sickness I used to have, or like mentally, like I feel, oh God, I'm going to play terrible today. I used to play games at Wycombe, like, I just want it to be over. Like I'd be walking onto the pitch, like, oh, I can't wait for this to finish. Not in a bad way, because I want to win and lose, or not lose, but like fear of failure. It was more the fear of failure was outweighing. I'm going to have a really good game today.
There's 10 minutes left. Don't make a mistake. That's 10 minutes to not make a mistake, or to not.
Exactly how I was thinking.
Yeah, which I guess, though, as a young player coming through.
But sometimes it's the other way.
Your breakthrough season as well, Wycombe, obviously. I mean, Ainsworth did an incredible job getting Wycombe to where he did, but the season that you broke through, was that the season with Torquay away that it finished?
Yeah.
So there were going to be moments like pressure and don't want to be. I can imagine if you're a young player and you're the person who gets sent off on that final day of the season, and then Wycombe get relegated to the conference. Like,
I remember the week before we lost to Bristol. That was the big one. Bristol Rovers at home.
Bristol Rovers, because they all came on the pitch, didn't they? And then
and I had I think we played Northampton, Bristol Rovers, Torquay, all around us. Northampton last minute, I had a free kick. Goalie tipped it onto the bar. We scored the rebound, and it was offside.
Yeah.
Then we lost to Bristol Rovers. I was poor that game. They scored a free kick.
I think I remember that because I was at the game and I was walking back from that game. In my head, I was like, oh, that's probably it.
Yeah. So okay, so it's probably it. I go back to my house, living at home. I'm like to my dad, right? How do we? Okay, we're 3 points behind. We've got to play them next week. We're down. What's happening next season? What do I do? Personally, I've had a good season. Where do I go?
Yeah,
what do I do? Like making no plans, but like thinking, oh my god, what?
Mind just firing.
Go.
Just couldn't.
A week later, we stayed up.
Yeah.
And then we're bloody at Wembley this following season. It's like
the turnaround.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's mad. So it's really important never to get too high, too low. Football managers say it all the time, but
it is, as you say, it's so true because you don't know how quickly things can turn.
There's a great quote I come from a famous writer. It was like, treat both imposters the same. Like, I'm gonna actually destroy the quote, but treat both imposters the same, which is basically success and failure. So like saying,
with the same respect almost.
Don't get too high, don't get too cocky, and
don't focus too much on your wins and don't focus too much on your losses. Just kind of that, and I guess that is difficult because football's an emotional game. You score a winner, but talking about highs and lows, that and the shirt I got, I think it is the shirt from the playoffs.
That specific shirt.
Southend, wasn't it? What year was that? In 2015. Because it was the year after, so they just stayed up at Torquay.
Yeah.
And then that was the year that Alfie Mawson joined us, I believe.
Yeah.
And Jacobson. See, like there was a bit of a turnaround on there.
There
that summer,
was maybe 12 players who left.
Ainsworth
and then 12 players coming
got his.
So I got quite a good couple of stories from that season.
Yeah.
Stayed up on the last day. Mm-hmm. Down, gone, fine. Cool.
And what was that like emotionally? The relief, I guess.
I was on the bench. I didn't come on for that game. The boys, in that situation, won 3-0. Torquay were already down. Okay, that's fine. And then we had a radio by the Stuart Bannister.
So you were hearing the...
And it was just nuts. Like,
because I remember I was watching it on Soccer Saturday, and my partner came in. She thought I was going to punch the TV. I was like Stelling. I remember Jess Stelling was kind of commenting on it, and Bristol just kept hitting the post.
They hit the bar.
How they didn't score that? Yeah.
Carnage. So, and then we heard it was done with like 1 minute to go. So obviously we went mad. Lots of drinking on the way home.
I can imagine.
And like I said, going from devastation to absolute elation. But to credit to the manager, like 11, I can't remember how many players, but 9, 11 players, something like that went. I had signed a 2.5-year deal mid-season, so I was staying. And then you're looking at Jacobson, Paul Hayes,
Zido,
a lot of senior boys, and that was the start of Ainsworth's USP.
Well, yeah, because you look, Jacobson's still there now.
Creating I know later he had Akinfenwa, they called them the Generals, Bloomfield.
Gape as well, wasn't it? Some of the Generals, that was the start.
That was the birth of it.
Yeah.
So Paul Hayes comes in. Obviously, I know him because I've watched him play. He scored against Chelsea a few times. And we get a bonus for wins and draws, points basically.
Okay, yeah.
So, God, it wasn't a lot back then, but it was like £50 a point if you're in below the playoffs and out, guaranteed, wherever you are, £50 a point. Or you can take like £83 a point, but you have to be in the top 7.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we just stayed up on the last day last season. A lot of us are going, we'll take the 50, like guaranteed. Hazy was like, no, we're gonna be up there this season. Like, we're taking the 83 now. Listen, I'm sure it's a lot more now at Wycombe or wherever, but like for me, I was like, if I start a game, because you got a bonus for that, and I started 4 games that week, and that month, and we've won 3. Like, that's making a big difference to eventually what was my deposit for my flat in the future. Like that was a lot for me.
It's a lot
as a 19, 20-year-old. But Hazy was like, no, we're not doing that. We're doing the big one.
Just set that mentality from
the mentality was
day
set.
one. Yeah.
And like I said, stayed up on the last day to losing in the playoff final, which obviously was incredibly painful. On that day, actually go back. Alfie Mawson joined on the week of the season started.
It was very late. So had he trained with the boys before his first game?
Well, he said he had when I had him on my podcast, and I can't remember he had, but like in my head, I pictured him like just turning up, just on the
rocking
bus
up
on Saturday,
the day,
or maybe turned up for Friday. And I was like, hello mate, I played against him. He was at Brentford a lot. Never stood out. I never played against him thinking, wow, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's how amazing football can be. Like, there's a lot of players who flourish at different times.
Like later development, yeah.
And I mean, he was an absolute joke. Like, Newport, we played first game of the season. I started in midfield.
Yeah.
We've gone out, we've walked out, and it's blaring like Rodney Parade, I think it's called. It's really loud.
Yeah,
and I've gone, Alf, if I've got my back, so I'm facing my own goal, and I set it back to you, left or right foot, like, what foot do you want me to play? He's like, nah, either. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's a bit confident.
And part of you, because you haven't seen him play it, you're thinking, how
That's a
do I
red
trust?
flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
Because I think really detailed, like, and this frustrates with people I coach as well, like, so I've got a man on, I'm going to set it to someone who's going to clear it. Yeah. So I'm going to set to you hands to clear it. I'm not going to fizz it at you because you need a soft pass for you to hit it first time. Yeah. If I fizz it at you, you're either going to shank it or you've got to take a touch, pressure.
Could be a heavy touch, then the player comes in. Yeah.
So that's where my mind goes really ultra detailed. So I'm thinking, right, when that happens, I'm going to give it to his right foot so he can clear easily. Nah, he's gone either foot.
I love
and that whole season, he was clipping balls like John Terry, like left foot, right foot, scoring goals.
That season, what a player.
Incredible. I mean...
Goal at Luton is the one that, obviously, when he's taken it through and then slotted it in the corner.
Just so good.
But, such a shame, though, with the
Then we
injuries.
lost, so we lost in the playoff final at Wembley.
I remember that. It was penalties, because we had... Well, JJ scored, didn't it? Well, it was an own goal technically, but I'll say JJ scored.
Yeah, he did.
And then was it 121st minute?
So, yeah, we're running the ball up into the corner, and I'm thinking, I'm going to be a League One player. Like, I'm going to be a League One player. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
when a year previous, you were thinking you might have been a conference player or having to...
And I didn't know what the National League was like then. I thought, I'm not going there. Like, it's probably an awful standard, which it isn't. So I started to put that shirt on that you've got there.
Yeah.
Because when we're running around with the trophy, I want to have my shirt on. So I'm taking my bib off, putting my shirt on.
Yeah.
And as I've got it round my hands, Piggott's gone and spun and scored. And I've gone, oh my God. And I'm a big... I never do that now. Like when my dad watching the TV, he's like, we've won now. I'm like, shut up, you can't say
that experience.
That.
Yeah.
You can't say that. So, yeah, and then like that, we lose on penalties.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been on the pitch to take a penalty because but I've got a very good record now.
Yeah, because I'd say, because currently you're penalty taker at Wealdstone, is that correct?
Yeah, I've been penalty taker for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
I do have a technique. It's a lot psychological as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Get me back on after my career and I'll tell you about it because I don't want to...
You don't want to give it away. Yeah.
No, but it's very simple. It's very similar to Harry Kane, how I take penalties.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But there is so much to it. I think because and that's actually why, and there's certain people like, so my partner's dad, he always says, I don't like penalties, it's luck of the draw. I'm like, no. There's actually so much, and I didn't appreciate this much until... Actually, it's been football, playing a bit, and I'm awful at penalties. Never put me on a penalty, even if it was just a charity game thing we did at Didcot. I don't I don't have the power in it. I just don't like it. But I don't see it as a luck of the draw. Like there's skill involved.
There is,
and to be able to, especially taking 2 in a game, which obviously probably was Harry's thing against France when we went out.
I've done that once.
Yeah, and I won't ask you would you go the same way because you don't want to give it.
I changed and missed. And then when we got promoted in the Conference South with Woking, I let someone else have it. Yeah. Because I was standing over the penalty, the second one, and I always know where I'm going or what I'm doing. And I went, I don't know what to do. I think at Hampton I'd missed the second penalty, so I had that in my mind. Just chucked it to my mate Heidi, he scored, and
nice.
I think everyone was like, if Heidi had missed that, we would have all gone mad at you. But I was kind of thinking, again, coach's mindset. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You're starting to doubt yourself.
And the goalie thinks, well, I've got a new penalty taker here now. Like, don't know what.
So it might throw the keeper a little bit.
And it did. So we won 4-3 in that game, to be fair. But yeah, I do have a technique. It's very scientific. It's just like the harder I kick it, the quicker my run up takes time away from you as a goalie. So like.
That's what you mean.
Speed equals distance over time. Was that at school? Something like that. So like, if I hit the ball harder, and my run up is shorter and quicker.
There's a science to it.
You have less, and a lot of my penalties, the goalie gets a hand on it, but because I've taken that time away, it goes in. But yeah, I wish I'd been on the pitch to take one at Wembley. I've never played at Wembley, which is again something at Wealdstone. we have
You're still in the trophy, right?
we are.
You are
Got
still in the
game
trophy.
Tuesday, next round, and then
Has it been reversed now, or is it still at Wildstone?
it will be reversed. So
Because I know if it's been postponed twice at a certain.
it will be on Tuesday. I don't think we'll be able to play at ours, so it'll get reversed.
Yeah.
Just so much rain. It's just been ridiculous this winter.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, that game will have happened. So hopefully,
Yeah.
still on with a chance of. Remember, is it Hendon?
Hendon at home, and then the winners will play Solihull at home, who are a very good
Solihull
team.
Moors, yeah.
But obviously a home draw in any cup competition is kind of what you want.
Amazing. That'd be awesome. I mean, we through work last year it was the Vars, so it was Ascot United against Newport Pagnell, and it was two of our clubs, two Bucks and Bucks clubs. So we were in like the Royal Box. So we're like where the trophy lift was. We were up there, and
wicked.
it was awesome, and like for those players. To get a chance to play at Wembley, like, it doesn't matter what competition it is to play at Wembley. It's incredible.
That's why I have to do it one more time before I finish, because it's that burning inside me is that you can either go up in the playoffs. I don't think I'm going to get to the FA Cup final or semi-final, so
trophy or the Vars probably.
Yeah. When I moved to Chertsey had just won at Wembley, so it was all round. We just bought our flat, and it was all like trophy winners around the town and that. So. Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Yeah. Hopefully.
And if there's a penalty at Wembley,
don't say that.
I know who's going to.
Oh, I'll step up.
You step up. Yeah.
Whether it goes in or not, we'll see. But yeah, no.
But as you say, don't want to say anything too much.
Paul Hayes said to me, "When do you ever get a 12-yard shot with no one in the way in a football match?" And I was like, "Makes sense."
Yeah, makes sense.
It's a chance at a free goal.
Yeah. Talk about Paul Hayes, that volley at Spurs away, White Hart Lane. I was there. I was in the away end.
That's when I just left after that season. So
yeah, you had.
That looked and I got back in the change room. Said 4-3, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I looked at all the minutes of the goals, and I was like, oh my God.
How we didn't even get a replay from that. But then they had to bring Dele Alli on.
Son as well.
Son, like
mad.
Yeah, incredible. Best and worst experience of a football match for me. It was like the best away day, but at the same time, to go from 3-2 up with like 5 minutes to go and not get a replay was hard. But no, I've really enjoyed it. Thanks, man. It's been a really good insight. I'm not sure how long we've been talking for, but I've enjoyed it. I could carry on chatting.
I'm impressed how just off script it is. It's just like casual,
Yeah, no. That's what I like to just have it conversational, and we didn't know what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
There's some bits up here, the stats and everything. I'm a real stato. Yeah. But there is a question I ask everyone, so I do want to finish with that for yourself as well. It's not quite related to football, but it's just, what does happiness mean to you?
What does happiness mean to me? Just being, I definitely have it on a football pitch, but just being in a moment where you have no worries, or you're not thinking about stuff that gets you down. So it could be bills, it could be like people you don't get on with. It's like and that's why often people get it on the football pitch, because you're just focusing on winning. Happiness, I just find I love just being in a place with people I love. Having no cares or worries for that specific amount of time, whether that's on holiday, whether that's, obviously we've both got weddings coming up. I can't wait for it, because I have all my favourite people under one roof for one night. So like, I'm sure I'll be nervous before it, but like I know it's going to be like the happiest day of my life.
That's amazing. Such a nice way of putting it, and I think, it's
the people you have around you and the things you're doing. Yeah, that's happiness to me.
I think that's happiness. Amazing. No, appreciate it, mate. All the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And for the wedding as well, of course, in the summer. We're both going to be in that boat. But yeah, I love what you just said there about it's about the people all being under one roof, and people that mean a lot to you, and that's what it's about. I mean, I've said that with my partner. We've been together 13 years now, so we've gone from 17 to 30 kind of together. So it's a long time, but it's not really going to change our lives massively. No. Because we're like living together now.
I'm only 3 years ahead of you. I met Rachel when she was 19, so I was 21. So
so been through it all, and it's amazing. But it's almost the day, and the celebration is for everyone else and getting everyone together. But no,
brilliant.
Appreciate it, mate.
Top man.
Enjoyed that.
Cheers, Ham.
Cheers, mate. Thank you so much for tuning in to this latest episode of Flat Whites and Insights, and I really hope you gained something from that conversation. I know I certainly did. It would mean a lot if you can like and subscribe on whatever platform you may be watching or listening on, but also if you head over to Instagram and give me a follow at Cappuccino. This is the best place to contact me, but also see the latest developments on the platform as we look to increase awareness of mental health through my passions for coffee and football. In addition, if you've heard something that you can relate to or you want to talk about a little bit more, feel free to message me on that platform. But also, if you fancy coming on yourself and having a conversation, then do let me know, because I'm always keen to connect with new people and get insights into other areas and other passions and other challenges that I might have no experience of myself. Thanks again, and I really hope you tune in for the next episode. Take care of yourselves. I've been Hans. Thank you.